All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to Zoological Point. My name is Kyle, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, the man, the myth, the Matthew Valiga. He's a ornithology student at the University of Miami in Ohio. And I just want to clear up some things. I know that in the email that I got, it said that I'd be interviewing a Birdman, and I too thought I was going to be interviewing Michael Keaton. So, welcome to the show, Matt.
Thank you. Well, I can't say I'm Michael Keaton. I can say that I probably know a little bit more about birds than Michael Keaton does himself. So,
That's probably a very true statement. So, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself?
so I'm a junior zoology and environmental science double major at Miami University in Ohio. Um, I've been into zoology my whole life. Always been a nerd, and quickly became a bird nerd ever since I got to school, and now I just go birding like all the time. So that's basically all you need to know about me. I'm also passionate about photography too.
Nice. Two good traits. Now, as a bird expert, can you confirm that the bird is the word?
The bird is 100% the word, 1000% the word. There's never been any word aside from bird. So
I mean, what even is the English lexicon?
honestly, yeah, it doesn't make sense for the most time anyways, so why
It's
not?
it's just 10,000 pages of just the bird.
Yeah.
That's my religion actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I respect it.
So, you and me, we go way back a whole 2 years.
Hmm.
Care to tell everyone how we met?
So back when I was a sophomore in high school, I joined this awesome program called the King Conservation Science Scholars to the
Shout out
Brookfield
Brookfield.
Zoo. Yep, shout out to Brookfield right there. And I joined when I was a sophomore, went through the ropes as it. Didn't do it junior year of high school because I went and did a different internship within the zoo. I came back to it senior year and then returned once I graduated high school because it's a high school program as a CPA, a community programs assistant. We're basically kind of like, I don't want to say camp counselors, but like kind of facilitators and
Babysitters.
all that kind of stuff. Basically make sure that the kids don't die. Um,
I mean, you lose
and
a couple every year.
just a couple. So, like, as long as that number goes down slowly, I'm pretty okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just
so
not noticeably down, just like one or
yeah,
two every other week.
exactly. Just enough. And
You
so that is where I met you because you were a scholar when I was a CPA. So,
Yes. Way back when I did not realize how long my hair should be, and I looked like I was just like wearing a mop on my head.
dude, I've
Thankfully,
been there. I used to have hair down to my shoulders in middle school. So
I need to see an image of this or I won't believe this.
nobody needs to see an image of it. It's bad.
But speaking of, so basically you were in charge of making sure that we were alive and just not being idiots. Even though
Yeah.
you guys literally almost left me at North Avenue Beach once.
Ooh.
I went to the it's okay. Water under the bridge.
Oh, yeah. I do recall this actually. The word almost is really important in that one, I got to say.
To be clear, I got distracted by sandpipers, so that's my excuse.
I mean, that would be my excuse too. I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing.
All right, let's move on to possibly not getting me rehired by Brookfield if I ever come back. All right. So just to clarify, we tried doing this interview yesterday, but my recording software only recorded Matt, not me. So like I wrote like a bunch of questions and jokes to talk about, and he's already heard them, so they won't land.
Birds land, so the jokes probably will too.
Hope you're happy with yourself. Okay, so you've talked about interested in zoology, particular ornithology. What's your ideal career?
Ideal career right now, I'm really sitting, and this is gone through a lot of fluctuations as I've gone through college, which is kind of like one thing that I think everyone should be aware of is like you're not going to know what you're doing when you get to college, and it's going to change for sure. I know it has for me. When I got into college, I wanted to do mammal work. I wanted to work in Africa, to be honest. I wanted to go work with big cats. I actually had a study abroad lined up, and it fell through because the money wasn't accessible the way I thought it was, which kind of stinks. But
Yeah.
I fell in love with birding shortly thereafter. It was a way to fill my time, and since has become my whole entire life. And so ideally, what I'd like to do is either work with the National Audubon Society, which for those who don't know, is a national bird conservation organization that does an amazing job of merging both stewardship and science. So they have a lot of really awesome science initiatives, but at the same time, they're really active in communities, trying to put forth like conservation messages and all that. They're very active with climate data and research as it pertains to birds. And so I'm very passionate about that. So I'd love to end up somewhere within the realm of that organization. Or if not, I'd love to end up doing avian conservation consultations, like being an environmental consultant as it goes with birds. So like producing, wind farms or creating buildings that are both good for humans and good for birds, and kind of doing that whole merging of both science and stewardship kind of stuff. Because I noticed that I'm really passionate about both doing
Like
science and also
helping
communicating
with
it.
like coexistence and like ecosystems.
Yeah, 100% living within the realm of ecosystems rather than separating ourselves from them.
It's awesome. Really cool. Something I didn't even know existed until yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, all right. As you previously mentioned, you and me were both photographers. So, what
Mhm.
are some birds that are on your like species bucket list?
Ooh, bucket list. I actually have a long one.
I feel like
I've
we all do.
never been to the coast before. I've never really been, as far as like a bird, or anyways. I've never been to the coast. I've always wanted to see puffins. I think they're just incredible.
They're the best.
Oh yeah, from both just a meme standpoint and just a genuinely cool species standpoint.
Just yes. However, when you're a species that's evolved to just be fatter to help you dive, you just like fly along like the surface of the park and just like crash.
It's something I relate to personally.
Yes, they
I've
are.
always wanted to see albatrosses. Um, red-billed tropic bird is a bird that I really, really want to see. And then currently the bird that I'm hoping to go chasing this summer is Kirtland's warbler.
Ooh,
Um, and that is a bird that only breeds in one small pocket in the state of Michigan. So it's pretty uncommon. And so that's a bird that is the closest one to my bucket list right now that I actually is attainable.
it's really cool.
Hmm.
If you ever want to come out to the coast, feel free to stop on by Seattle.
Oh, 100%. Always wanted to go to the Pacific Northwest. So,
We don't have many puffins here, but we have a couple guillemots, and like if you head north in the Sound, you'll see lots of cormorants. I saw a few tufted puffins last time I was up there.
oh man, that's awesome.
If you ever want, you got a place to stay here. So,
I'll remember that for sure. Once quarantine's over, obviously.
of course, in return, I'm gonna need to stay at your place when I go to Cincinnati Zoo.
That is 100% easy to swing.
Next question relates to something that we talked about yesterday. Hey, Matt, have you ever been nearly shot at before?
Yeah, honestly, the story that I told yesterday when we did this is only one of the times I've been nearly shot at, but
Oh boy,
it's the only one that pertains to birds, so it's the only one that's relevant here.
we're gonna need like a sequel episode to this. Times Matt's almost
Probably,
gotten
yeah.
shot.
I've made my rounds. I'll say that much. Be more responsible than I am is my main piece of advice. But last winter break, driving home, I drive myself to school. I've got my car on campus. Not everyone does, so it's sometimes just like a foreign topic. But I was driving myself home from school, and I've always been really passionate about whooping crane. It's always been one of my favorite birds. I grew up reading this goofy little book that I have right here called Extinctosaurus because I was really into paleontology and all that. And it kind of goes through just a bunch of different dinosaurs, Cenozoic species, all that stuff. When you get to the back, it has not only like extinct species, but species that could go extinct without human intervention. And whooping crane was one of the species that it highlighted. Reading that book, I always was captivated. I was like, the pictures, I just super interesting, really interested in whooping cranes. And that was kind of where I started appreciating birds a little bit. And there's this place in southern Indiana near Bloomington, IU Bloomington, about an hour away, called Goose Pond Federal Wildlife Area, which is, as it sounds, a federal wildlife area. It's huge. They do a
For
bunch of different
gooses.
stuff. It's, yeah, exactly. It's big migratory stop for a lot of water birds. So big congregations of geese and migrating ducks, migrating sandhill cranes, and migrating whooping cranes. It's one of the most reliable places in our near area to get whooping cranes when they're migrating. And they were supposed to be around when I was driving home. So rather than go straight from Cincinnati to Chicagoland area, I decided to detour, go about 4 hours west, and then 4 hours up once I, crossed that border when I got there. And I decided to go hit that place when I was driving. And southern Indiana, for those of you who aren't acquainted with, is very much like any other corn filled area, farm area.
It's the south of the Midwest.
You kind of know what you're getting into when you're driving through. So I get to this federal wildlife area and I'm looking around all the places that I know where whooping cranes should be, would be, all that kind of stuff, getting jack squat. And I'm getting pretty disappointed. I go up to the visitor center. I say, hey, has anybody, reported whooping cranes? They say, no, I haven't heard about it in about a week, but we do have short-eared owls that people are seeing if you want to stay till dusk. And I'm like, well, I would, but I've got 4 hours to go to Chicago after this. That's going to be a 10 o'clock return. That's not feeling that.
Why?
So I'm getting pretty bummed. I'm driving through, just doing loops. I was there for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, just driving. It's a big place. And so finally I'm like, all right, Matt, got to call it quits. Let's get out of here. So I drive out. I'm exiting the area. I call my mom. I say, you know what? We missed them. Wasn't great. And as I'm leaving, I exit. I'm about 10, not even, probably 5 minutes out of it. I'm about to make a left turn, and I see, as the road keeps going this way where it splits, I see up in a cornfield that way, I see a flash of white. And immediately I'm like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And so as I'm turning, I do a quick U-turn back onto it and drive down that road that's right next to a cornfield. And there's two whooping cranes hanging out, about maybe 5 minutes out of this big wildlife area, which would explain why nobody's reported it, because nobody's birding on the side of the road,
Right.
So I pull up to the side of the road immediately. I'm like jumping out of my car. I'm excited. Grab my camera, decide to take some pictures just because I want proof. They're not good pictures by any means because it's so far away, but just for proof that I saw it, kind of just for my own records kind of stuff. And so I'm standing there for about 15, 20 minutes. I've got just quiet country music playing from the car. It fits the vibe of Southern Indiana.
Right.
Just existing in like the marvel of these two birds. And what I failed to notice as I drove up on this cornfield is this house just maybe 10 minutes down the road, but it's like in the middle of the field. So it's closer to me than it is to the road. And I see this guy walking towards me with a gun in his hand. And I suddenly take a step back for a second. I realize I currently looks like I'm taking pictures of this guy's house with this super long lens. And this guy's walking towards me with a gun in hand. And the first thing I thought, originally, I was like, oh man, this guy's shooting those birds. I got to report it. I was like, he keeps walking. I'm like, this guy wants to shoot me. I got to get out of here. So I skedaddle real quick. And the guy just stands there looking menacingly and everything like that. And I was like, boy, did I miss a bullet. Because honestly, I ain't going to mess with Southern Indiana. I mean, it's about as redneck as the Midwest gets.
I mean, you haven't truly lived in the Midwest until you've been chased out of someone's property in South Indiana with a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, it was technically I didn't trespass because I stayed on the road. So like,
but
still, it's too close for comfort.
Yeah, imagine if those white blurs that you saw were just great egrets.
I would have taken his gun and used it on myself.
Can't say I blame you. So, switching back to a bit more science-based questions, like what advice do you have for people who want to help out local populations of endangered birds?
So definitely, this is a really good question because I know native birds are one of the things that I'm highly passionate about, which is why I've gotten so into birding, is like being able to interact with stuff right outside. You know, I can go outside and identify just in my backyard anything from 10 to 12 species of bird on a good day, which is, it's cool. You know, you don't really realize that there's more than just robins until you've been introduced into this whole entire new world. And I think the easiest thing that you can do is plant native plants. Especially during right now, we're in kind of the start of spring migration. We've had a lot of our short distance migrants come through. So like some of our sparrow species, or, you know, people around me are noticing red-winged blackbirds popping up again, all that kind of stuff, those good birds. And so one thing that's really important with migration coming around is that migration is being heavily stunted by ruining stopover points. Because birds, obviously, some of these birds that we're getting are coming from South America, going all the way to the boreal forests in Canada, and you can't do that in one leg of a journey. And a lot of these birds rely on these stopover points to refuel, get ready, kind of like, you know, stopping at the gas station, you know,
Yeah.
a rest stop or anything like that. But by ruining these stopover points, birds are having to fly further and further and further in between their stopping points. They're not able to fuel up as much, and they get to their breeding grounds more emaciated and with less fat storages than they should be. And instead of being able to put in the time to breed, they have to put in the time to either put on fat, or they're so small that they can't breed and produce as many eggs as they should be, which the less eggs you produce, the less baby birds you have going back, and the less you're repopulating, because migration's taxing and a lot of birds die. That's just kind of the way it is. And you need to keep up that kind of breeding to make sure that you're replenishing what you lose. And without being able to replenish what you lose, that's why we're seeing such a steady decrease in a lot of these birds that are migratory birds. Songbirds are being hit especially hard. And so planting native plants is super easy. I know, especially in Illinois, there's the whole milkweed initiative going around and everything like that for monarchs. And it's just as easy for native birds too. You can provide for some food sources. Goldfinches eat sunflower seeds, and that's not only a pretty plant, but it's a native plant too. And so just being able to kind of keep from, like, being able to kind of just emulate natural habitat in any way you can is an awesome way. Audubon.org, they have a really cool site that you can interact with, where you can type in where you live and it'll tell you what plants to plant or what plants are native.
By the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so that's one just super easy way, and honestly the easiest way that I can think of that you can help birds that are right outside.
All right, thank you for that. Another good one is to, if you have a cat, make sure that they stay inside, because house cats are kind of homicidal psychopaths when it comes to songbirds.
They are the scourge of the earth when it comes to songbirds. I will say that.
Yeah. Now, you're an expert on birds. So can you confirm nor deny the fact that birds are real?
That's something that technically I'm not allowed to discuss. What I will say that one of the things that I do at school is I do bird banding research. And I go and I work at a banding station. I'm currently getting banding certification myself. So hopefully before I leave college, if I ever get back to college during this whole social distancing period, I will leave with a bird banding certificate with the Inland Bird Branding Association anyways. So I come in close contact with a lot of birds. So if there's anyone who knows whether they're real or not, I will say it's me. And I will also say that I can neither confirm nor deny them to be real. That's really
Tell us your secrets.
Yeah. I don't need the SWAT teams coming breaking down my door. I might have already said too much already. I don't know.
Just leave the video, delete Discord, just throw away your computer. Gotta get them off your tracks somehow.
I never existed. I wasn't here.
They just take you to this nice farm upstate, and no one acknowledges your disappearance. You're just gone.
Yeah, honestly, that would be the way I would go.
Now, you're not just an expert in birds, you're also an expert in music. So what are some artists you think that everyone should listen to at least once?
Ooh. So I have a really wide range of music tastes, I will say. I tend to gravitate towards kind of 70s-ish. You get a lot of folk rock in, a lot of blues, a lot of just classic, the staples like Bruce Springsteen or something like that. I really love. So Bruce Springsteen would be one. Um,
Okay.
it's specifically the album Born to Run. I know it's definitely like his most played stuff, and Born to Run is what you usually hear with Bruce Springsteen, anyways. But the whole album is just absolute gold. Jungle Land, the last song on the album, has one of the most emotionally taxing saxophone solos I've ever heard, and so that's one album, one artist I can highly recommend. Um, The Grateful Dead, 100%. I think the thing that I love about the Dead is that no matter what kind of like music that you listen to, you can find something that you'll like. If you really like kind of folk rock or stuff like that, you can listen to Friend of the Devil, or Ripple is a really good song, one of their most famous ones. If you're into kind of more like a just a fun kind of driving vibe kind of thing, Touch of Grey is a perfect song. Good Lovin', I mean, is a really good song. And if you're into like just long guitar solos, blues stuff like that, anything that they did live is just gold. They're incredible musicians, and the culture behind them is really cool. So they're super diverse, and anybody can get into them. And then I think the one song that I would recommend that everyone hear is currently "I Got a Name" by Jim Croce. It's very good driving song. It's kind of like a another blues folk inspired kind of artist. 100% my favorite song of all time right now. It probably will stay that way for about 2 weeks before I move on to something else because that's usually how I work.
Until you hear Africa by Toto again.
100%. That is the best song of all time. I just can't deny that.
Yeah. Now, whenever I'm at a zoo and it starts raining, I just automatically think, oh no, Matt would just say, bless the rains.
Oh, 100%. I very quotable in that way.
Now, all right. So, let's get a bit serious for a second. We all know what's going on in New York, the whole Mandarin Duck in Central Park. What do you think his motives are? Why is he there?
I personally think that the Mandarin Duck that came into Central Park, he is trying to mess up whatever. I think it's just planted to screw with birders. Personally, I really do. If you look at how many, first of all, the news, the press coverage that bird garnered. This bird has T-shirts made of him. He's colloquially dubbed the hot duck. Like that's a thing if you Google it. Um,
Only in New
he
York.
he made New York Times. He made the Chicago Tribune. He made the L.A. Times. Like this guy was everywhere. And obviously he's not really in Central Park anymore. But we did just have a Mandarin duck surface right in the Chicagoland suburbs, which is throwing people in the same kind of throng of just mass hysteria because there's this bird from China that has all of a sudden popped up in Algonquin, I believe is where it was. And so I think personally these birds are just planted to mess with birders because the birders all flocked to New York only to find out maybe about 2 months later that it was a captive bird all along. It just escaped, which means it's not countable, which kind of stinks.
I really hope it's the same bird. Just like it just flew all the way to Chicago and it's just like, haha, my new life begins.
I think that'd be hilarious. It's kind of like a witness protection
Yeah,
program
I was
kind
just
of
gonna
thing.
say he just in witness protection, but he can't change his species, so he's just like,
He's just
hey,
stuck.
I'm just a color morph of a wood duck. It's fine.
Pay no attention to me.
The same genius doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your expert opinion, which bird is the worst?
I'd say based on personal experience, tufted titmouse.
You said tuft.
I also would put Canada goose down there, but I'd say tufted titmouse is probably the worst. Tufted titmouse is about this big of a songbird. They're kind of related
Wait,
to chickens.
they're that big?
Yeah, they're like that, including tail. You know,
I
you
thought they
get
were like this big.
it's like this much a body, but the tail kind of extends a little bit
Right.
further. And they got that little mohawk that sometimes, you know, if they flare it up, that adds a little bit, you know, a little bit off the top. But they're just they're rotten. In my experience with the banding station, my professor who I work with, he's always been quoted as saying that if tufted titmice were the size of like eagles or something like that, there'd be no humans on Earth. I tend to have to agree with that because these guys they got bad attitudes. We have resident families that hang out at the state park where I do banding, and we catch them every single time because they're around in the winter, they're around in the summer. So we're just constantly going through a lot of tufted titmice, and they're the only birds that I can count on being bit by. You know, any other bird, the thrushes, so like robins and stuff like that, they're really chill. They just kind of hang out, and you're just like, all right, we got this understanding. You know, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. We'll get you out quicker. Cardinals are a bit of a wild card. You know, they got a big beak and they can bite hard, but it's not always. Woodpeckers will peck a hole in your hand, but I can't fault them for it because it's in their name. But titmice just like they latch on. They really do. They just latch on. They go to town. I've had holes in my hands from them. They scream the whole way the whole process from start to finish. The most raspy metal on metal sounding scream in the world. Just all around, just unpleasant experience to be working with titmice. And so I can't say that I like them even a little bit.
Can you please give us a demonstration of the scream of a titmouse?
I can do you one better because
Oh no.
I'm hoping I can find. I cannot demonstrate myself because the only bird call that I can really do well is a mourning dove because I can whistle. But if I are able to pull up if this will actually work, I might be able to find.
Because to defeat an enemy, you must know them.
That is true. Well, I know them. I know them too well. All right. I can't find a recording of it, unfortunately. But basically, think of the most evil sound that you've ever heard, like Godzilla grumbling or something like that. Up the pitch to where it's like way up bird kind of range, and you got it. It's just brutal. It's awful. It's grinding. It's unpleasant.
Editor, can you add this in post? It's okay. We can say anything. They'll add it in post. Now, I have a bit. We had one activity, which was we were going to tier list American birds. And we're going to continue to do that today, and then I added another one to practice your identification skills.
Oh shoot! Wow. Okay, I like that.
Did you study?
No.
Shall we begin?
Yes. I'm very good with Midwest birds, I'll say that.
Okay,
Pacific might be a little
the first
bit harder.
round can be found in the Midwest, okay? The second round is international.
International? Oh, shoot.
Okay, are you ready to start?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now, the first one is multiple choice.
All right. I'm guessing it's what I've just received.
Yes.
All right. So
your choices are American herring gull, European herring gull, California gull, or Western gull.
All right. So I'm glad you didn't put ring-billed gull, and by that I mean I'm not glad at all because I knew it wasn't that. Let me see. I've got. Of course, I can't find it right now, but I've got guides upon guides as far as birds go.
That's cheating. No.
That's not cheating. That's how you go through an identification. Shoot. All right. So we've got a pretty intense gonadial angle, which is if you look at the bottom of the bill where it kind of goes like this, that's what we call the gonadial angle. And that's actually a really good way to parse between different gull species. I really don't know what I did with my bird book. It's actually really
flap it back. Wait, do you want to just flap it back and forth so you can?
Oh God! I'm actually worried about this. I have only 4, so I don't know why I can't find any. What on earth? Well, that's very unsettling to me. There's always one in my car, but that's not really accessible right now. Oh, here we go.
Got one?
Nice. My favorite guide, personally.
Nat Geo?
6th edition, the most recent one. I believe it's 7th, actually. Shoot. All right, so let's go.
My national is only 5th, so.
A little outdated, but it's mainly the same thing. It's just a little bit of taxonomy differences is really what ends up being. All right, so let's go.
When they drop the new bird DLC, I have to get the new one.
All right, so first things first, we're not looking at California Gull because we've got a dark eye, greenish yellowish legs, which we got a bright eye, not greenish yellowish legs. So already, let's nix that one. Then we get to, what were the choices again? California Gull, Herring Gull?
California, Western, American herring, and European herring.
All right, well,
I
you said
kind
it
of
can
like.
be found in the Midwest, so unless it's a vagrant European Gull, I'm
I
probably
messed
going
up saying European herring gull.
to. So yeah, I'll take that one out of there. So we're really looking at Western Gull versus Herring Gull. And one thing I'll say is that looking at the range map right away, Western Gull you can only find on the coast of California, Pacific Northwest. So unless, because that's what's interesting. Let's see, breeding adult, we do have the frosted wingtips, pretty heavy, decently heavy gonadial angle. There is that kind of reddish blackish down there. Winter adult, we do have pink legs. I'm definitely going, I'll say herring gull.
All right. So bird number 1, you're going to say herring gull.
That is my answer, Alex. What is herring gull?
Okay, bird number 2.
Well, that's just wonderful. I have a feeling I might know what's happening here. One thing that's great about gulls is that a lot of them, and basically all of them, their plumages
Are identical?
Yeah, and they don't become full adult plumage, which is usually the easiest way to parse them out, until about 3 or 4 years. So you get these weird looking for the first couple of years that you're just not sure what the heck it is. And my initial response to when I saw this picture was that you have given me the same species of bird, just a bunch of different plumages, but I don't think that's actually correct. I think that'd just be funny.
You want me to give you the multiple choice?
Yeah, give me the options.
Okay. Kelp gull, American herring gull, Western gull, California gull.
All right. So essentially the same groups, except we're adding California and kelp, right?
California was the last round too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you.
I gotta check my book to make sure that this is the right picture. Professionalism. Always kids, if you're watching this, be sure to always double check your facts so you're not wrong, because if you're wrong, the people on the internet will never let you live it down.
Yeah, we don't like fake news. Ooh, actually, let me see. No, breeding adult would also have dark eye. Okay. So this could either be a juvenile gull or it could just be a winter gull. And that's kind of where the holdup is right now. So just to confirm, we've got California gull, herring gull, and then kelp and western.
Correct.
So again, it's not a western, so I'll get rid of that one right away. Not a western. It's not. It just doesn't have like that kind of western.
Vavavoom.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have the gestalt is the word that I use for it, which is the overall impression of it. Just not a western gull. So I'm gonna nix that one. So we're down to herring, California, and kelp. And I still haven't even seen kelp in this book yet, so I should probably look at it first.
Maybe that's a hint.
It probably is. Unless, I haven't looked through all the pages, so that's something I should probably do first. Yeah. Yeah, let's wider. It's not a kelp gull, I'll say that much. Found it. It's not a kelp gull. So most likely, if I can find the page again, we're looking between California and herring gull. with the main thing being we need to determine if this is A, either a winter or a juvenile plumage, and B, which one it is. Instinctively,
I think it's winter.
I'm believing it's winter as well. And because of that, I'm definitely going to say that this is a herring gull, mainly because with California gull, we've got, again, dark eyes, which,
Right.
unless the light's tricking me here, those are bright eyes. So, plus, gonadial angle is much, to me, seems much more pronounced. The bill seems much less thin, proportion wise, in a herring gull than a California gull. So that's going to go into my decision.
I may or may not have edited some of these pictures.
Uh-oh.
I have not, don't worry.
I just, whoo!
Bird number 3.
Now this is an absolute unit.
The stance of the Chad. Your choices are yellow-legged gull, yellow-footed gull, California gull, and American herring gull.
Well, right off the bat, it's not a yellow-legged gull. Unless it were the first or second winter, but those plumages don't match up. Therefore, unless you got a really bizarre picture of a yellow-legged gull, I'd say that's probably not a yellow-legged gull. Moving on, you said yellow-footed gull?
Yeah.
Now, you also are not a possibility because your back is much, much darker. And also, you're not found in a... Well, you're found... Okay. You're kind of almost found in the United States. And also, you don't have yellow legs or feet, unless this is an incomplete plumage, but it's not incomplete plumage because that's an alternate breeding plumage. So, therefore, again, we are looking at either California or herring gull.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has a bright eye. I have to say herring gull.
Yeah, you're correct. I had like 7 other pictures of just herring gulls.
Are these all herring gulls?
Yes, these are all herring gulls.
Oh, thank God. Oh, man.
I was hoping you wouldn't catch on because I was just so dumb just to have the same picture of each bird.
I will say it definitely, between California and herring gull, is like kind of the rough little distinction like that. But the dark eye versus the light eye is just such a key diagnostic trait, which I've never had to identify between these two species because I'm not a Western boy.
Come out here to the West Coast and help me identify between American herring, Western, and California gull, especially in Oregon when they all overlap.
Oh God, those are the worst spots.
We went to Canyon Beach and we were like legitimately having an argument with one of my supervisors at the aquarium about what gull it was.
Those are honestly the greatest trips, though, I will say. Yeah.
Those scholar trips were both hell on earth and amazing.
100% agree, especially as an advisor.
So, you've gotten 3 out of 3, so let's move on to the international round, shall we?
Alright, this is frightening.
If it any consolation, you can see most of these in zoos.
That helps a little bit. Only a little bit. Alright. That one is 100. First of all, is that a Sartori image?
That is a Sartori. No, you cannot Google the Sartori image.
I'm not going to Google the Sartori image. I just wanted to clarify if it was from the photo arc or not.
Shout out to photo arc. It's the best.
I love the photo arc. If you haven't heard of the photo arc, go look up Joel Sartori's photo arc. It's incredible.
I love going through it and just like using it to expand my database so I know what birds look like in the future, and also to email him if I find any inaccuracies in his class.
It's such a fun site to peruse. It's really a well set up site too, I
It
will say.
is.
I mean, my first vibe is Andy and Cock of the Rock, male specifically. That's all I can think of it being.
Is that your answer?
Yeah, I'll submit that answer.
I'll give you half a point because it's not an Indian, it's a Guyanan cock of the rock. It's one of two
That makes
species.
sense.
So yes, I'll give you half a point there, okay?
The head plumage didn't totally line up with Andean, but I didn't know any other species, so that was.
Alright. I'll give you half a point there. So you've probably seen this guy in some zoos in Ohio.
Oh, yeah, that's a hornbill.
What kind?
It's not rhinoceros. I'm not up to date with my hornbills, I will admit. Because rhinoceros has a thing on top that goes up. So that's not what we're looking at here. Maybe like a, I don't know, red cast hornbill or something like that.
You're gonna hate this, but this is a rhinoceros hornbill.
Are you serious?
Yes, the Bornean subspecies, the one that like curls up. The
Oh.
Javan subspecies has one that goes straight out.
All right, that makes sense. That makes sense.
In case you don't know what subspecies are, don't Google it. You'll regret it.
Yeah, subspecies are the worst thing to ever happen to taxonomy.
Can't they just decide if like ecotypes are subspecies or not? How about this guy?
Okay. So we're either looking at a macaroni or a rockhopper penguin. I believe that to be a rockhopper. Don't tell me it's macaroni. You're all right. So you're definitely just all right. That's good. Oh man.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
It's neither.
Shoot. I'm not very good with penguins, I will admit.
I'll give you
My
another
issue.
hint. They are the first part of the name, not the part that's penguin, but they're the first part of their name shares. The first part of their word is a geological formation.
I'm a little bit baffled because I don't remember all my penguin species.
I mean, I understand. You don't really see penguins roaming around downtown Chicago all the time.
Yeah, that's my issue.
That's all right. No worries. This is a Fiordland penguin.
Oh, see, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
New Zealand has some weird stuff.
Yeah, New Zealand is kind of a bopping place, I will say.
I will say, kiwis are colossal. How about this lovely fella?
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
He is not a raptor. This is an FYI.
Yeah, my first inclination was to say secretary bird.
People do say it is a convergent of secretary birds.
Well, that doesn't help. All right.
It is also a close cousin of your beloved whooping crane, by the way.
That makes me feel bad. If what I'm thinking looks like that, I might actually be onto something. No, 100% that's not right. Okay.
Or
I know I did a project way back in freshman year on bustards, and I couldn't remember what they looked like. I got nothing on this one because I was really, really all in on secretary bird.
Well, this is a red-legged Seriema, which is basically a South American secretary bird.
Well, then I feel better about that.
I'll give you half a point, okay?
That works.
All right. You are a fan of ducks, correct?
I do love a good duck.
How about this fella?
Ooh. Yeah. Immediately, I'm getting whistling duck vibes.
Yep.
And I know the species that we have in North America are fulvous and black-bellied. And This is an international one, so I'm assuming it's neither of those.
Correct. This is going to be in the Australia Asia region.
Okay, Australasia. That's helpful,
I think
except for the
also technically Indo-Malaysia.
okay. See, my thing is, I don't know the names of any other whistling duck species besides black-bellied and fulvus. So
I'll give you a point for knowing whistling duck.
it's got the
This
same
is
kind of body form.
yeah. This is a wandering whistling duck.
Yeah, yeah.
Not as magnificent as the wandering albatross, but
Pretty close.
they're trying. How about this fella? I'll help you out and I'll give you the continent. This guy is from Africa.
I really got nothing on this one.
Definitely. I think they're diffuses in Ohio.
The only thing I can think of is like a starling or something like that.
Well, this is actually a green wood hopo.
Yeah, yeah.
They're weird, don't worry.
Yeah, it doesn't look anything like a starling, but when you said Ohio, it was like, baby, I don't know.
Okay. I think you'll get this one. This is Central America.
Oh, is that a Turaco?
It is not. It does
Oh,
begin
then
with
it's Curacao, isn't it?
It's not, but it does begin with a T-U-R.
Don't tell me it's Turkey. Yeah.
Yep, you are looking at an ocellated turkey.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
They're so cool looking. I think you'll get this one. It's one of my personal favorite birds.
Oh, that's the Philippine eagle.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, monkey-eating eagle.
There are a lot of eagles that eat monkeys. Harpies do it too.
Harpies, yeah, those are cool birds.
And this is the last one I have, unless you want me to find some more.
Oh, man.
Think Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter? It's given me, as far as family goes, it's giving me cuckoo vibes.
Interesting choice.
I don't know what it is, but just that's the best I got.
This is a shrike.
Is it really a shrike?
This is a magpie shrike.
Oh, I actually should have known that.
I think Cincinnati has them.
If they do, I've never seen them before.
I know, I'm like going off of like the old website, and I'm just like, ooh, this. Well, you did very good. I'm very proud.
Yeah, I'm not. I could have done better, but international birds have never been something I've studied up on, I will admit.
That's all right.
As long as I get groupings, I feel pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
Because it means I know the groupings here.
Good, good. Now let's move on to the tier listing, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Now, no matter how hard I try to do this, I cannot make Matt see my screen, so I'm just going to have to dictate everything that's going on to Matt.
That is fair. You could be doing exactly the opposite of what I say, and I would probably... Well, I wouldn't know.
Just like if I just like end up playing Minecraft for the entirety of the stream.
That would be amusing.
Maybe when I interview someone less educated. If the series gets off the ground in the first place. Okay, so the first bird on the list, American avocet.
I'd say probably like a B tier.
Yeah, they're just like a crappier. They're a great value brand. Stilt.
Mm-hmm. And they are cool. I love waders, shorebirds, all that. So
Okay, so American crow.
like a C tier.
Yeah, for caw.
It's like you know it, but it's familiar. It's good. It's not great. It's just average.
Yeah. It's like a cheaply made raven.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, American goldfinch.
I give that one. This one's hard because in the summer I give a goldfinch easy A tier because there's something super special. Even though where I'm from we see goldfinches a lot, it's still super fun to see them at the feeder and everything. But in the winter, honestly, I give them like a C or a D tier just because they're so drab, I guess. So I'd say like maybe split the difference like between C and B or something like that, I guess.
Okay, low B it is.
Yeah.
American robin. E tier.
Yeah, I would put it as C tier, but the scientific name is Turdus migratorius.
So
I
they're
think
flying
that's a good
turds.
scientific name.
This is why taxonomy is amazing.
Yeah, we call them flying turds. I love
I,
that.
I love when like tech Latin names are just dumb, so they just repeat the name over and over, like Western lowland gorilla, which is gorilla, gorilla, gorilla,
those are those are pretty good. Bison, bison.
or plains bison, which is bison, bison, bison.
That's really, really trying hard to be repetitive.
Yeah. Next up, the Chad of the bird world, the American woodcock. Easy S.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's really no doubt. These guys, their call is wonderful. Their walk is wonderful. Their courtship displays are wonderful.
The little dance they do.
Oh yeah, and they look dumb. I mean,
Could you want any more?
exactly.
Anna's hummingbird.
I'd give that one probably an A tier.
Yeah, they're one of the better hummingbirds.
Yeah, the
I,
gorget, which is their throat patch, is what that's uh, technically called. The gorget, one of the best in my opinion of any North American hummingbird.
almost for any bird. I have one that lives that comes to the fear at my house. I've named her Diademas after my celebrity crush. Okay, next up is the American national bird, which is the bald eagle. I'm gonna say low B tier.
Yeah, I mean, I see them a lot, so I'll admit I'm a bit callous to them. But at the end of the day, it still is pretty awesome. So like, you can't really put it lower than a B tier.
Right. Belted kingfisher.
S
Gotta
tier.
respect the mullet. S tier.
Yeah, they look dope. They're
They have a
the
harpoon for a face.
hmm the females are the ones that show more color, which is really interesting and really cool to see.
Yeah, because usually it's the other way around.
Oh, almost always it's the other way around.
It's also very interesting to see examples of birds where both the male and female have the same coloration. That's really common in seabirds, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Next up is the black oyster catcher.
I give it an A tier.
A tier, but
Yeah,
low A because the oyster catcher at the aquarium I volunteer at hates my guts and just like chases me and like screams at me.
that'll kill it for you.
But that's fine. I know she likes me deep down.
Oh yeah, they're just cool looking birds.
Blue-footed booby, I'd say an A tier.
I guess I could see it there. It's
Let's let's knock it down to B because there are birds that just entirely has a foot fetish.
yeah, and their whole shtick is like being so dumb that they aren't really aware of anything.
Yeah, I mean
And I just think that's a little bit.
they're named after like the weirdest part of the human body, the feet. So
Yep.
not where you thought I was going with that, was I?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Next up is Brandt's cormorant. You know what?
A solid C.
Yeah, I was gonna say pelagic cormorants are better because I like the red.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, brown pelican.
Uh,
D.
eh, yeah.
Story time. I went to a place in Tampa that rescues seabirds, and they have like a free roaming pelican, like how most zoos have like peacocks and peafowl.
Uh-huh.
And everyone's just like, "Oh, he's a sweetheart. He lets you hang out." And I got a picture of him, and he did not like that. And he started to like chase me. I've had some very interesting encounters with large birds that want me dead. Oh,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Easy S, California condor.
Yeah, easy as the conservation initiative behind those guys
Yeah,
is wildly successful. One of the best, in my opinion, that the country has to offer aside from bald eagle.
yeah. Shout out San Diego Zoo. We got
Oh yeah,
the population from like I think was it like 9 or 11 to like in the thousands, which is great.
yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah. Next up, we have the birds that are currently amassing outside of my house on my patio. We have California quail.
I give them a B.
I agree.
They're
Pretty.
good. They're not great.
Yeah. Next up, we have the velociraptor of the Midwest. We have the Canada goose.
Put that one if you still have titmouse tier and
I still have
titmouse tier.
titmouse here.
Yeah, put that one way down there.
Got it. Next
Those
up,
guys are.
we have the Caribbean flamingo.
C.
I was gonna say like B, but I'm gonna agree with C because I feel like the evolutionary like trait of having to only being able to eat if your head's completely upside down is just like, hey, not the best idea.
Yeah, it's like high C, low B, because like pink is lit, and like the whole subculture of putting flamingos out in your front yard is pretty funny,
Yeah,
but eh, overplayed in my opinion.
yeah. I prefer like the South American flamingos anyway.
Yeah,
Ooh, Caston's auklet.
A tier.
A tier easy. They're so
Yeah,
tiny.
one thing that we'll probably find is that basically all water birds I'm willing to put probably at least a B.
Right. Can we just like have the editor slowly zoom in on the pelican in D tier with sad music? Next up, we have common raven. I think that's an easy A.
Yeah, they're like crows that act like hawks and are super smart. So in a couple ways they're a little scary, but at the same time they're pretty awesome at the same time.
I wholeheartedly agree. Next up is dark-eyed junco F.
I'd be willing to put it there.
One
There's
of the worst birds. I
yeah,
think
if
so.
we're talking, we roasted subspecies earlier, definitely gonna have to kick this one in order to maintain continuity.
Taxonomy is dumb. Next up is the bird I chose only because I think they have a really funny name, the dick kissel.
Yeah, Dick Sissel.
I like my pronunciation better because it's funnier.
I honestly want to give them an A tier.
I can see that. Let's give it
They're
an A.
cool. I get to see them a lot around here.
Oh, cool.
They're very fun to come around, and in my opinion, it's a really cool looking bird. Like a really cool looking bird.
They are. Unfortunately, the pictures I uploaded, some of them have the head cut off.
Oh, jeez,
I got them from Audubon. Blame them.
that is fair. That is fair.
Actually, don't, in case you want to get hyped by them someday and end up seeing this. Next up, we have the eared greb.
Like a, I have
That's
to
good.
put it at B because it's a water bird, but also it's not that great of a water bird.
Yeah. Just the pelican hanging out in D.
It's fine. I mean, I will say that like sometimes eared versus horn grebe is not a fun identification.
Wait, there's a difference?
Yeah,
The more you know.
it's not fun either.
I bet. This is why I hate Western gulls, herring gulls, and California gulls.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, next up we have eastern bluebird.
Uh, Probably A tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
My, I feel the same about what is it? I feel the same about bluebirds as I feel the same about waterbirds. If the bird is colored blue, I'll probably almost 99% of the time put at least B tier.
I just like slowly zoom in on the brain's cormorants.
Ah, that one's barely blue.
Only when it's horny. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Next up we got eastern osprey. S.
Yeah.
We got next up is feral pigeon. C.
I am inclined to put that in F tier.
Fine. Feral pigeon, but a robot.
See that one. Now that we can put up in S tier.
Science. Trust us, we're
Yeah,
scientists.
100%. I have to, otherwise the government.
You gotta toot your own horn sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want to get got.
Next up is great catbird.
I want to put that one at a B. I really like catbirds. They're really crappy mimics. They're in the family Mimidae, which is our mimicking bird. So like near me, you have northern mockingbird, brown thrasher, and gray catbird. And I
Right.
think just gray catbirds suck at mimicking, so I think they're funny. But also, their color gray is one of my favorite colors on birds. I'll wholly admit.
Gray is a good color.
It really is, and I think it's an overlooked color a lot. Also, their undertail coverts, which is the feathers literally under the tail, are like a nice chestnut brown, which is in fact my favorite color in any bird. Is that like rich brownish? So they're a really good merging of colors for me.
I see. I do like the color pattern they have.
It's a really simple but really nice palette.
Right. I feel like chestnut's an overlooked color because everyone's like, is it brown or red
It can be both.
at once? Next up, we got great blue heron.
I mean, it's a big bird, but like
big birds, and I can't not lie.
maybe C tier.
I was gonna say C tier. Yeah, that's decent.
Their sounds are terrifying. So that really kind of.
Yeah. Ooh, we got greater prairie chicken.
Oh, S tier.
S. Yeah. You hadn't yet
Fun.
been playing ball sacks in your neck.
Yeah, and fun fact: Greater Prairie Chicken is in fact the mascot of a local baseball team called the Schaumburg Boomers.
Shout out the boomers.
And they do, in fact, do a dance before their baseball games. This is actually 100% true, not a meme, which to me only strengthens the case for Greater Prairie Chicken being an S tier bird.
And I need to find a video and I'll link it down below if I find one. Next up is the Greater Roadrunner.
A tier.
A tier, yeah. I'm gonna put it in B tier because I feel like I've been lied to because coyotes can actually outrun roadrunners easily.
Yeah, that is true. That does kill it a little bit. Kills the vibe.
Yeah. Do you know I think the roadrunner is actually a girl.
I could believe that.
Put it in Merganser. S.
Yeah, waterbird. Awesome looking waterbird.
I want to put them in A for Afro, but they deserve to be an S.
You got to resist the urge.
Yeah. The puns, they're right there.
Yeah.
I can stop anytime I want to stop. Just let me make a few more puns. Okay. We got your favorite bird, one of your favorite birds. We got the house sparrow. Titmice tier.
Yeah, one thing I will say about the house sparrow, I hate house sparrows. Personally, I hate the fact that they will come in and literally yoink bluebirds out of a nest and steal that nest. But there is a recent story, pretty recent story that came out earlier this year, outlining the top 10 most decreased bird species of, I think, either the past year or the past decade or something like that. And house sparrow was number 8 as far as in decline goes. And everyone was like, oh, thank God. They're so happy about that. But let that sink in for the fact that a bird that is so highly evolved to live in a human led environment, even a bird like that can't survive in conditions right now.
Yeah, and to top things off, they're invasive and they
Yeah,
like have
they're
every
invasive.
advantage.
And that's what's scary is that if even house sparrows are getting hit super hard, that's not good.
Right.
Like, I don't like a house sparrow, but that is not a good sign to me at
Right.
all. That is life, and if we're not even able to sustain the most hardy and adaptable forms of life, then man, I don't know. It gives me chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
But also titmouse tier.
That now on that depressing note, indigo bunting.
I give that a B tier. I have to maintain true that blue will get you at least a B tier. And it is a really pretty bird, really, really fun song. But
But eastern bluebirds are better.
100% eastern bluebirds are better.
Next up, we have the ungulate murder. We have a killdeer.
I gotta give it D tier.
I gotta give it C tier because or high D because I volunteer with one.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta give them D tier because they're terrible actors and they've survived for the past however long they've been alive by like nesting in the middle of parking lots.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. Ooh, King Eater.
Oh, S tier.
Yeah.
They're dope looking. They're a water bird. Like, they got everything going for them.
Yeah, they do. Laughing Gull. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Also S tier. I don't. You would think, with my personal experience with laughing gull, that I would be very against them because I went chasing for a laughing gull at a state park near me and did not see it. So, like, I've kind of always held that against laughing gulls in a way. But at the same time, they are so clean looking.
Yeah. They're the best gull, probably.
Yeah, I honestly, any of the black-headed gulls, so like your Bonapartes too,
Right.
I think they look incredible.
I agree. So S tier. Ooh, magnificent frigate bird.
Another easy S tier, to be honest.
Yeah. I wish like I could get so many girls if I could just like inflate my chest like a balloon.
Yeah.
Just walk in like, hey ladies.
Imagine how much you would spend on food too if all you had to do was bump into someone and just take their food instead.
It's basically what happened to me in middle school. Except
I
I
mean,
was the one who getting picked on.
it's a cheap way of living.
It ain't much, but it ain't honest work. Next up we got Mallard. Controversial, E tier.
Yeah,
There are better waterfowl.
100% there are, but then again, it is still a waterfowl.
Fine, D. Ooh, here's one that I really want to see when I was in Florida, but I didn't. Mangrove cuckoo.
I give it it's high. It's not that high.
Let's give it a B.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
Nelson's sparrow.
Controversial opinion. I love sparrows. I think they provide a really, really fun challenge when you're birding.
To be clear, New World sparrows.
Yes. Not those junky Eurasian sparrows.
Yeah.
And I will say that one of my favorite plumages is on Nelson sparrow. They've got a really nice, like that, like orangey rufus kind of wash to them. I think it looks awesome. But that being said, they're also super hard to identify because sparrows in general are just rough. So maybe like a low B, high C.
Yeah, let's go high C. Next up, we have Northern Cardinal.
See, that's hard because Cardinals are super pretty.
But every sports team in the Midwest has like every state like has a sports team named the Cardinals, and they have as their state bird.
There are seven, count them, seven states with the state bird being the cardinal.
And here
And
wait, it's Illinois. Illinois has it, right?
Illinois has it, but also Indiana has it, and also Ohio has it. So you've got a stretch
Lovely.
of three contiguous states, all with the same state bird. I hate
Lovely.
that. Therefore, I'll give it a C tier. C for cardinal.
I just thought for a while that Illinois state bird was just like a plastic was just I always thought it was just like a Canada goose with like a subway bag around its neck.
I wish that'd be hilarious.
We should like petition to like the state of Illinois to change it to that.
Specifically, plastic goose.
No, specifically a subway bag.
You're right.
We gotta like do some product placement if we want to make money off this.
That is true.
Next up, we have the Northern Mockingbird.
See,
Now,
I would give that one a B tier, but I'll give it a C tier because it does kind of look like a budget loggerhead shrike.
it does.
But at the same time, their ability to mock is actually insane. So I actually want to kick it back up to B tier just because watching a birder struggle with whether or not they're identifying a mockingbird or another bird is pretty hilarious.
I just assume every bird's a mockingbird until you get close enough.
Exactly. Until you can confirm that it's not.
There you go. All right, easy S, peregrine falcon,
Yeah.
the best raptor.
I mean, what can you say? There's something legitimately like spiritual about watching one of those guys go into free fall.
And just straight up kamikaze like a pigeon in its way.
It is legitimately just incredible. I've seen it once in my life. I was in fact doing for a class. I was doing one of my classes. We had to set up an experiment at a separate location, so we all drove out there. We're all setting up in an ecological research field, and so we're setting up our experiment. And I look up and I see a peregrine just dive bombing, just going to free fall. I stand there staring. This thing. My whole class and I, they joined in. They were like, "What are you looking at?" Because we're trying to set up an experiment. Then the teacher comes over and is like, "What are you looking at?" I didn't even say a word. I was just like, and we all just watched this peregrine falcon just speed through the air. It's incredible.
That's so awesome. I love peregrine falcons to the point where I really wanted to like look into falconry and I couldn't find any place near me, so I got really upset.
It stinks.
Yeah. Apparently in Washington you can own a falcon, so
Oh shoot!
time to get my falconer's license.
I might move there.
I like how I'm like preoccupied with my scuba certification and like my falconry license before I even have my driver's permit.
I totally get that though. I mean, I got a scuba certification freshman year of college, which is right after I got my driver's license, so I get it.
Also, driving is dumb and I don't like driving. Only slightly because I'm scared of it, don't worry.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's a lot of people on the road.
North up we have the red knot.
A
I agree. I was kind of disappointed when I saw them because I saw them in October for my birthday, and they don't have the breeding plumage, and it kind of just looked like every other sandpiper. So
Yeah.
like in the aviary at Monterey Bay Aquarium, and I was just like looking at the birds, and they're like, "Are they all the same species?" I'm like, "Nope."
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I need to go back in summer, but it's California in summer, so
That is not fun at all.
yeah, I'll probably just come to Ohio in summer instead.
I will admit that Ohio is not very fun in the summer either.
True, but taking my chances between California and Ohio.
Fair chance to take.
Ooh, what are your thoughts on the red-tailed hawk?
See?
I was gonna say C. Yeah, Harris hawks are better.
It is just a red-tailed hawk, but it's also still a hawk. And that's
Right.
really kind of like the mental grapple that you have to go with.
Yeah. Next up, we have the rhinoceros auklet.
Another S tier.
Yeah, gotta love the little horn.
Oh yeah, it's clean.
Shout out, if anyone visits the Seattle Aquarium, we have a little 20-year-old auklet named Lola. She's the absolute best. Shout out Lola.
Classic
Next,
Lola.
next up, we have ring-billed gull. This literally could be any of the other species of gull, as we previously mentioned.
Yeah. One thing that I guess I have to give ring billed over herring gull is that they do have the ring on the bill, which makes it a little bit easy.
Is that so? Is that how they got the name or something?
Yeah, it was weird. Somebody said this is a ring billed gull, and then they all just started painting rings on their bills. It's pretty crazy.
Well, you do know they were discovered by John Ringbill.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Trust us, we're scientists.
Oh yeah, professionals.
So,
But
what tier would you say?
C tier,
Yeah, let's give low C.
they're kind of like usually with a birder, what we call a trash bird is like a bird that you'll just see anywhere. So like house sparrow or something like that. But ring-billed gull heard that and was like, I've got an idea. And they took it literally. And I think that's what I don't like about ring-billed gulls.
I think the problem is they have like claimed the parking lots of like KFCs as their own personal playground.
It's like the epitome of white trash, but if it was an animal.
They're the raccoons of the birds.
Yeah, that checks
I don't
out.
mean to diss raccoons. Raccoons are amazing. Shout out to my homies, Trash Pandas. Next up, we have the love child of a flamingo and an ibis after getting their beak stuck in a panini press. We have a roseate spoonbill.
I'd give it like a B, I think. It's better than a flamingo.
But not by much.
Yeah, and I think the color palette
The color
sometimes
palette's amazing, but the face is terrifying. If you like, when I was in Florida, I got to like get eye to eye with a roseate spoon. I'm like, oh, this is terrifying.
yeah, it really kind of kills the vibe.
Okay, next up we have Ruddy Turnstone, which is going to be the name of my chemical. It's going to be the name of my chemical romance cover band.
That's a pretty good name. I give those guys an A tier.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a clean looking bird. Very clean looking bird.
Love the chestnut coloration. And
Oh,
of
exactly.
course the little orange feet.
They're pretty awesome, I gotta say.
Okay. Rufus Hummingbird.
I gotta give the I want to give them an A tier because I think they're beautiful. But that being said, I'll probably give them a B tier because where I'm from, the only hummingbird species that we get is the ruby-throated hummingbird.
Right.
With the very, very small occasional instance, and meaning like about once a year, of Rufus hummingbird popping up somewhere just on accident. And last year, there was one that popped up really about 15 or 20 minutes from where I live, except I was at school. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I got to give it a B tier because I'm just a little bit spiteful that happened.
I'm going to drop them down to C tier because they're the one bird, every bird that I've observed outside of my apartment, I photographed except for the Rufus hummingbird.
Oh, jeez.
And every time I try to photograph him, he just flies away. Or if I hear him, I grab the camera and like sneak up there. And then the second I like get him in focus, he leaves.
That's brutal.
So yeah, C tier. Once he comes back and actually has like a sit down and talks to me, I'll bump him up to B tier.
That's fair. I get it.
Oh, next up we got Sandwich Tern. A species I chose entirely because I think the name is funny.
Yeah, it is a funny name.
But it's a tern at the end of the day, so I'd say D tier.
I mean, I will say that I like terns more than gulls. I think they're better gulls.
Okay, so let's put it in C tier, just like right in front of the gull.
Yeah, that is a pretty good spot because it's like I love terns, but it's not a standout tern in my opinion. Like black tern is probably
Black Tern and Inca Tern. Boom.
yeah.
Easy S.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Scarlet Tanager. I'm gonna say D tier. I really love Tanagers, but I feel like this is like one of the bleh.
Yeah, not to mention, personally, red I think is an overhyped bird color in my opinion.
Yeah. Paradise Tanagers are so much better. They're so cool.
Agreed.
Next up, we have a raptor that has a beak that looks like a can opener. We have snail kites.
S.
S, I agree.
Yeah, they're just
For
they're
snail.
cool.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, we got snowy egret. I want to give them like a high C because I like their little gloves, but they're just
That's
a small egret. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really all they got.
Another easy S, snowy plover.
Yeah,
If anyone ever comes to Seattle Aquarium, we have two. Their names are Petunia Skullcrusher the First and Tank. They are adorable. They're actually fully grown, but they're small for their size. So when I first saw them, I was like reading up on them, like, okay, so they're this big. And I got to the habitat, and I just like see these two cotton balls with legs. I'm just like, where are they?
plovers are pretty great, so I will say I concede that definitely.
They are. Also, I've seen Tank like kill a cricket T-Rexa when he just like grabs it and shakes it. It's hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, next up we have spotted towhee, recently separated from the towhee species, so now it's two species. Taxonomy is complicated.
Yeah, spotted and eastern is the other one.
Let's give it E for stupid.
Yeah,
Stellar's J. It's just a better blue jay.
it really is. I got to give it like an A, probably like a low A, but an A nonetheless.
Low A it is. Thick-billed
It's a
parrot.
good color palette.
What was that?
Yeah, I said it's just a really good color palette.
Yeah. Next up we have thick-billed parrot.
Low B.
Low B. I really think it's funny to talk about them because anytime you mention the word thick around people, they laugh now. So
That is true. I'm just not a big parrot fan myself, which call me crazy, but like I just don't get much from them.
like I can see that. I'm just like a big I prefer like I love macaws and I love lorikeets mostly.
Yeah.
I love like that feeling when you go to a zoo, you get like the nectar cups, you put them out, and then like you just get swarmed by a dozen of them at once.
That is a fun feeling, I will say.
I feel like you're Jesus of the birds. Okay, next up, we have the Canada goose on steroids. We have the trumpeter swan.
Oh. I know I said water birds would be all up there, but truth be told, I want to say like D tier.
D tier?
They're a scarier Canada goose. Granted, they're a prettier one, but there is also the other thing that identifying between trumpeter and tundra swan is just not fun either.
Yeah, because you have to like get a close look at the beak, right?
Yeah, there's really not a ton to go off of a lot of the time. Or if you get a flyover, sometimes you can tell from the call, but if nothing is calling, obviously you're in for a spot of rough luck. So like,
right.
And there's something scary about a Canada goose that's on steroids, but instead of trying to bite you, it just swings its head at you like a baseball bat. So,
okay, I'm gonna put them in high D because they were smart enough to evolve a ranged weapon.
fair enough. That is valid.
Speciation needs more ranged attacks.
Uh,
I mean, spitting cobras have it figured out.
they got it done.
Do you imagine if like Pitapachuis are like venomous birds? So imagine like a bird that just like spits venom.
We'd be done for.
I want one.
Terror from the skies.
Birdemic Shock and Terror 2.
Oh God.
The birds, but they have venom now.
Oh God.
Okay, next up we have Tufted Puffin.
S.
S. Yes.
100% S.
At the
No,
aquarium, we call them mullets, especially when they have them. They're an S tier in summer coloration, but they're a B tier in winter.
but that summer coloration for me
It's
doesn't.
amazing.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't even knock them for their winter coloration because the summer is just so intensely awesome.
It is. Gotta respect the double golden ponytails.
Oh yeah,
Next up, your favorite, the tufted titmouse.
titmouse tier.
I still like that we
Not
have an entire tier dedicated to the awful bird, and it's just called the titmouse tier.
not a good bird.
Next up, we got turkey vulture.
I give him a B.
I'm gonna give them high B because I still think the fact that to cool them, they just piss on their own legs.
Yeah, that's pretty metal. I will say one of the most fun experience I've had is learning how to handle raptors with our local state park.
Oh
Got to
yeah, shout
handle
out to Ed.
the bird club, and in their nature center they have a resident turkey vulture who can't fly, so they don't have him caged up. He just kind of roams around. It's named Ed, and I think he's an absolute unit. And he'll go and like nip people's ankles. And I think he's just a great memer. So for that, I kind of gotta pick him up.
Let's put him low A.
Yeah, dude, Ed A. Ed is A tier. The rest of turkey vultures are B tier.
Shout out to Ed, by the way.
Oh yeah, Ed's great.
Next up, we have one of the largest birds in North America. We have the Tyrannosaurus Rex, because technically theropods are birds.
D tier.
Yeah, D for
There's better
dead.
dinosaurs.
D
It'd
for
be
dead.
even lower, but the whole Nanotyrannus controversy is just too funny to watch unfold.
It is. Watching paleontologists argue about things that have been dead for millennia is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Until you get involved.
That is true.
Also, just saying Allosaurus is a much better T-Rex.
I would tend to agree with that.
Next up, Whooping Crane. Do I even have to ask?
S,
S?
easy.
Probably
It's
be like S plus.
yeah. It's another awesome conservation story, even though it's not been as rapidly successful, but we're still working hard at it. And
Yeah.
they're just beautiful.
And it gives us all those pictures of volunteers with their hands and puppets. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, those are hilarious.
Next up, we have the wild turkey. I have a very funny idea. I'm putting in high B just in front of bald eagle to thank Benjamin Franklin for everything he's done for this country.
It's valid. I like that.
Okay, next up we have wood duck, the American counterpart to the hot duck.
Classic hot dog. I'll give it an A, I think.
Yeah, it's a very pretty duck.
Yeah. They're good looking birds.
And then our final bird that we have is the yellow-bellied sapsucker.
S.
S, it is.
S for name, S for looks.
S for swagger.
Yeah, they got it going on.
All right, and that's our tier list complete. Now,
I'd say it's a pretty
anything
good
else you
tier
have to
list.
say for all of us watching at home?
Only thing I can think of is if you're interested in going birding, or breaking into the field of ornithology or anything like that, just start looking at books and looking online just for resource and information. Just go outside and see if you can learn what's hanging out in your backyard. First small steps you take will probably be the most important ones. So that's all I got.
All right, get out there, do some birding. Matt actually has his own YouTube channel named Matt Valiga. He actually changed his name to match his YouTube channel, so that's commitment right there.
It's true.
Go check him out. Give him some subscribers. Give him all of your love and attention. Until next time, I'm Kyle. This is Interview with an Expert. It's the show that's just like Hot Ones, except not at all. And I'll see you next time.